What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. This is Danelle Trains, where we talk all things health and fitness. And today, we're here to talk about the 7 factors that influence weight loss. But before we get started, I got a very, very important question to ask you. And you can comment at the bottom. Because I just got these today, my first pair of glasses ever. And these are some blue blockers, because I'm looking at my screen sometimes at night. So my wife said I was looking dorky, so I need to know dorky or not. Now, in all fairness, she said dorky cute, but I want to know dorky or not. Comment below. All right, so enough of that. Let's get into these 7 factors that actually influence your weight. Okay, so the first one comes as no surprise. Okay, like it's talked about everywhere. There's a million different ways you can do it. It is your diet, aka nutrition. So this is talked about in great depth. Nowhere, no matter where you go, there's no lack of information on it. But the main thing that you need to know about nutrition or your diet when it comes to how it influences your body weight is, are you in a calorie deficit or a calorie surplus? Because that will determine where your weight is going to go, if it's going to go down or up. So you want to be in a calorie deficit, which is in the simplest terms means that you are eating or taking in less calories than you're expending on a daily basis. The next one is sleep. Okay, sleep greatly influences your weight because it fuels a lot of the other factors that I'm going to talk about here today. But sleep often is really underappreciated, undervalued in terms of its contribution to optimizing health and helping you to lose weight with good progress and efficiently. So to kind of dig deeper into exactly why sleep is important, well, first you want to establish whether you're getting adequate or inadequate amounts of sleep. Okay, so how many hours of sleep are you getting per night? Are you getting greater than or less than 7 hours a night? Now, a lot of people say, "Well, I can function off of 5, well, or I can function off of 6.5, and if I get 8 hours, and I wake up feeling drowsy." Well, just because you can function off of a certain numbers of sleep doesn't mean that that is the number of hours of sleep you need to optimize your health and really help you to lose weight. A lot of things that happen actually when you are sleeping that has to do with recovery, that has to do with hormone production, and when you get into your hormones being disrupted or the production thereof being disrupted because of inadequate sleep, well, now you just opened up a can of worms, and everything from cortisol to HGH to leptin and ghrelin, all of these different uh, hormones that really affect, like your hunger, leptin and ghrelin, your hunger and satiety. That's a big thing when you're trying to, again, on the nutrition side, eating a caloric deficit. Well, if those are thrown off and you're feeling more hungry and you're not recognizing satiety as easily because you're sleep deprived, well, that is a problem when you're trying to lose weight. So the next one, now this is another common one. You probably can guess it at this time. You know, this is exercise. Okay, exercise is the next factor that greatly influences your weight. The big benefit from it when it comes to weight loss, when you're doing cardio, you're gonna burn a lot of calories. Okay, it accelerates your caloric burn during the workout. You burn slightly more intra workout depending on your intensity than you would lifting weights. Now, of course, this is dependent upon intensity. So if you're running, you're gonna burn a high amount. If you're doing like the recumbent bike, then you're not gonna burn as much. And then on the opposite end, if you're lifting weights, well, if you're just doing like things like bicep curls or tricep extensions, those single joint exercises that work the smaller muscles in your body, you're not going to burn a ton of calories, especially if you're not keeping your heart rate up and you're taking very long rests. But if you're doing something like high intensity interval training, or you're doing like a CrossFit style workout where you're doing Olympic lifts or you're doing lots of deadlifts, lots of squats. These are big compound movements that really get your heart rate up because the demand it places on your body in terms of blood flow, in terms of oxygen getting to the muscles. So it really can ramp up the amount of calories that you're burning while you're doing those exercises. So the other benefit to exercise is when you are doing resistance or strength training, you're building bone density. So your bones are becoming more dense. You're building muscle. And now, how does this impact your weight loss? Well, as your bones get denser, as you uh, hypertrophy your muscles, that causes the demand for energy. Okay, to maintain the bone density, to maintain uh, your muscle tissue being thicker, being bigger. So that increases metabolism, right? So now it's a lot easier for you to maybe lose weight and definitely to maintain the weight loss that you accomplish. So exercise is big, and I know it's talked about a lot, but sometimes we don't know exactly why we're doing things, and I want to make sure that you knew. The next factor is, and this is one that's not talked about a lot, but we have to address it, your medical condition. Okay? And when I mention medical condition, I'm talking about your physical state, your mental state, and also your emotional state. Okay? So physically, do you have some type of chronic disease or physical disability that really limits you in terms of what you can do with exercise, in terms of how active you are just in your daily life? If you have some type of chronic disease where you have to take medication, does the medication cause you to feel dizzy, or does it make you drowsy? Will it is a side effect weight gain? So there could be so many different side effects from taking prescription drugs, from taking even over the counters, depending on what it is. So that is super important. Then when it comes to your mental state, okay, do you have any type of mental disorders? Something that maybe you're seeing a psychologist or some type of therapist for. If you're suffering with depression or anxiety, these could be things that could really be limiting in you being able to really make great progress in the beginning without the proper help, I would say. Then also there's emotional. Are you in a state of stress or turmoil? I know throughout the pandemic, that so many people their emotional state has been altered because of isolation, and that decreases motivation for a lot of people to do anything. So that matters as well. So recognizing this and applying the proper solutions, whether that's getting professional help, or talking with your physician about ways to work around your medical condition, or maybe different ways that you can do things with your prescription. If it makes you drowsy, maybe there's a better time of the day for you to take it so that you can exercise without accidents happening because of the side effects from the prescription. So all very, very important. The fifth factor is stress management. Right. So stress management. This is a big deal because the way that you manage stress will really it really and this kind of feeds into the previous factor, with your emotional state. Like, how you manage stress is a big deal. You We have lots of TV programs and stuff, and what was it, like commercials that kind of illustrate to us how to manage stress, and a lot of times it isn't healthy. It's get home and you pop open a wine, or you have a beer or something like that. And that's how kind of like sometimes these commercials and TV can teach you to manage stress, and that is actually counterproductive when you're trying to lose weight. So if that's something that you're in a habit of, that's something that you have to address and find another way to deal with that. Now there's many things that you can do, but that you first have to identify, okay, what stress management techniques you're using that could be counterproductive. Um, there's some people that do in fact manage their stress with physical activity, which is great, which would be productive towards their goals, as long as it doesn't get to the point where it's unhealthy and you're overdoing it, you're overstressing, you're stressing your body physically, because of that stress that you're feeling, from whatever source is coming from. Then there's stress as far as like, are you eating your emotions? When you're sad, do you eat? When you're bored, do you eat? When you're overwhelmed, do you eat, or not eat? If you're feeling stressed, in any of these ways, do you lose your appetite? Because is as important as it is to be in a caloric deficit, it's also important to nourish your body. So definitely it goes both ways when it comes to stress, whether you have more of an appetite and you eat those emotions, or you have less of the appetite and you don't eat at all. Neither one is good. And that kind of points back to medical condition and emotional state. Is there someone that maybe you can reach out to and talk to help you to navigate your feelings and how you're managing these feelings and the stress that you're feeling from whatever the source is, so that you can better your health? Okay, so the sixth factor, that influences your weight loss is your physical environment. Okay, so your physical environment is super important. Where you live can dictate a lot. So depending on what climate you live in, this could decide whether how active you are at different parts of the year. Living advantages or disadvantages could be access to gyms, or and training equipment. If you're trying to exercise at a gym, you'll probably find a gym in certain cities. It'd be very easy to find one, especially with these different chain gyms that have opened up. You can find one at least, wherever you live, is probably one within 15 to 20 minutes of you. But if you're in a rural area, well, that's going to be different. The nearest gym might be 40 minutes away, which you might not want to travel that far to work out. So that could affect your consistency with training. Then if you live in an area where there's a lot of pollution, well, now this is affecting you, internally. It could actually turn into a medical condition depending on the pollution, level, and how close you live, in proximity to the source of it, and how much of it you're actually inhaling into your body. So these things really do matter, in terms of how it affects your weight loss, and a lot of people don't connect the dots with that. And when you talk in terms of, like, you may not be able to change your physical location of where you live or work, but identifying how it is affecting the different habits or things that you're trying to create, to lose weight, to live a healthier lifestyle, will help, because then you can actually start working on a real solution to overcome that challenge. All right, so the seventh and final factor that influences your weight loss, according to me in this video, is your social environment. And to me, this is one of the biggest, this is like not the biggest factor, but it's like so important, how your social environment can impact your weight loss, how it really influences your habits and influences how you adopt, a healthier lifestyle. Because creating new habits is very hard. But one thing that makes that easier is if you are in a social environment that is supportive of living a healthy life, living a healthy lifestyle. So, how are your friends, and family, the people that you spend the most time with, your coworkers? Do they encourage, you to live a healthy lifestyle, or are they trying to tempt you to eat foods that will be counterproductive to your goal? So I always encourage people to join some type of community that is centered around health. Having been a personal trainer for a long time, I witnessed how community really helps when somebody is on a weight loss journey. You have people there that will encourage you, push you forward or pull you forward. And it really makes a big difference in the way that you feel and in the way that these habits stick or don't stick, because it's much harder, to do it when you're kind of feel like you're always going against the grain. It would be nice to hang with people that, where it is on their radar and they do make healthy options available, or they choose a healthier restaurant or something like that. It makes life a whole lot easier. And that's really, what you want to experience sometimes. You don't always want to feel like you're the oddball out when going out to eat and just trying to have a good time. But so that really influences it, your weight loss and your healthy habits. So there it is, the 7 factors, according to me in this video, that influence weight loss. Just keep in mind, weight loss it's a mental, emotional, and then physical battle. I've never had been training or coaching a person whose body gave out on them and they still mentally wanted to do it. I've only 100% of the time, if somebody quit or did not succeed, they failed mentally first. So thank you for tuning in. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the post notifications, and then comment below. Let me know which of these factors you most identify with, or one that you weren't aware of, or let me know if you want me to go do a video digging deeper into any of these factors that influence weight loss, and I will make sure that I first respond to your comment, and then I will add them to another video that I do. All right, so I'll catch you on the next video.